The scene opens up on this old-school Chinese building, snow falling heavy, straight cinematic vibes, and we're inside the Alliance Leader Hall. Right away, we see an old man sitting at a desk with two subordinates beside him. This isn't just anyone, though. This is Tian He-jin, the Alliance leader himself, basically the top dog of Jianghu. Now, one of the guys next to him, advisor Gal Saryang, is just staring out like something's off, then casually points out that it's snowing. That alone gets the leader's attention. Saryang then brings up Baekpyo's kid, saying the child must be loving this weather, probably going crazy right now. The other guy agrees, hyping it up like, yeah, that kid's definitely having the time of their life. Then, Tian He-jin suddenly asks if the kid just turned 3 this year. Both advisors pause, confused as hell, and Pyo corrects him. It's 6. But here's the weird part. Pyo's smiling, but inside he's like, hold up, something's not right. Then Tian He-jin laughs it off, saying time really flew by and he didn't even realize it. Pyo reminds him he literally asked the same question a few days ago. Now the leader's confused too, thinking something's seriously off with him lately. He brushes it aside, thinking maybe he should just buy the kid some clothes, since Pyo's been loyal for decades. But then he blanks again. Can't even remember if the kid's a boy or girl. That's when Saryang steps in, clearly concerned, asking if he's all right. Tian He-jin just shrugs it off, saying he's probably getting old. The others immediately push back, saying, nah, he's still perfectly healthy. But in his head, he's like, it's been over 40 years. 40 years of being the strongest in the world. That's when things get deeper. He suddenly asks Saryang what kind of person he is. The advisors are confused, like, what kind of question is that? But they answer anyway. He's the greatest in Jianghu. And now we get this full flashback flex. At 29, he made the Sword Emperor, Blade Emperor, and Fist King all kneel. Absolute domination. Then, in his 30s, he became the Murim Alliance leader and spent years crushing unorthodox sects, wiping out entire syndicates, straight dismantling the dark side of Murim. We see him cutting through enemies like it's nothing, destroying even the successors of demonic cults. In the end, he achieves peace for the nation. But of course, it's never that clean. There were snakes in the grass. People hungry for power tried poisoning him, sending assassins at night. But every single time, he survives and wipes them out. No mercy. That's why people started calling him the Iron-Blooded Alliance leader, the embodiment of punishment. One of the subordinates doubles down, saying he's basically the symbol of righteousness itself. But then the other guy notices something's off again, asking if he's feeling unwell. Tian He-jin just gives a calm smile and dismisses them, telling everyone to go rest, even sending Pyo home after days of work. Once alone, he starts reflecting, saying if someone achieves this much in Jianghu, there's nothing more to ask for. But his life's been brutal. Then, out of nowhere, boom, he clutches his chest. Something's seriously wrong. Next thing, he just drops flat on the floor, collapsed mid-speech like someone hit the off switch. Then we cut. He wakes up slowly, confused, smelling medicinal herbs. Immediately thinks he's in some kind of medical room. Thinks he probably fainted and that Saryang's gonna nag him later. But as he gets up, something feels off. He checks himself, and hold up, his dantian is completely empty. No qi. Gone. He's shocked, thinking it has to be some kind of qi-dispersing poison, but then shuts that idea down instantly. There's no way something like that could work on him. Then, 2 random people walk in, a man and a woman, relieved that he's awake. But now it gets weird. He asks who they are, and even he's confused by his own voice. It's younger. The woman is immediately offended, like, did he seriously just ask that? He confirms it, completely serious. Next second, she loses it. Vein popping, full rage mode, and just punches him while the guy behind her tries to calm her down. Mom didn't even hesitate. Immediate combo starter. She starts yelling about how she stayed up all night worried sick, and this is how he responds? Then drops the bomb. She's his mother. Now our boy is completely lost. The father tries to calm things down, saying he probably hasn't come to his senses yet after fainting. But the mom is not having it, straight up telling him to just die if he's gonna act like this. Meanwhile, he's sitting there thinking this has to be a dream. No way this is real. But then he looks in a mirror. And yeah, reality check hits hard. It's not him. It's a young boy. He touches his face, stunned, but then laughs it off, convincing himself it's just a weird dream, until the pain kicks in and he collapses again. Later that evening, he wakes up again, and now he knows. This isn't a dream. No matter how deep it is, he'd be able to tell. But this is real. No signs of chi deviation either. He's genuinely confused how something like this even happened. Then it hits him. Reincarnation. Out of everything he's experienced in 70 years, this is the craziest. And he still has all his memories as Tianhe Jin. Then an old servant walks in, instantly disappointed, saying shame on him. Our boy just says he doesn't remember anything, which is technically true. The servant calls him irresponsible and walks out, saying he's a disgrace to the family. Now that hits different. This man, who lived as the ultimate leader, always taking responsibility, now being called irresponsible? That's wild. He's sitting there thinking what kind of trash life this kid must have lived. Then another guy walks in, acting casual, talking about how he warned him he'd lose, bringing up drinking and getting beaten by a woman. Our boy cuts him off, asking who he is. The guy isn't buying it, saying he heard about the fake memory loss act. But our boy stays serious. The guy introduces himself as Guang Tao, thinking this is all a joke. But once he realizes the memory loss might be real, he tests him, asks about money he borrowed. Our boy doesn't remember, so Guang Tao says it was 2 taels. Without hesitation, he actually pays him back. And that's when Guang Tao is shook, because apparently this guy never pays back money, ever. That's when it clicks. This isn't an act. So Guang Tao starts spilling everything. Our boy got rejected by Lady Song, talked trash, got beaten, got salty, got drunk, and then somehow fell into a pond by himself. Just embarrassing. Then we get introduced to Lady Song, Song Hua Lin, the most beautiful, talented woman in Shandong, perfect in every way, except one fatal flaw. She's engaged to this guy. Yeah, tragic. Then it just keeps getting worse. Gambling, wasting money on courtesans, drinking, fighting, running away from home, refusing to train, acting like he's gonna make it big while doing absolutely nothing. Straight walking L. Our boy cuts him off like, all right, that's enough. Then thinks to himself, this guy only got slapped once by his mother? If it were him, he would have beaten him severely. Bro inherited trauma and embarrassment on arrival. Then he asks Guang Tao one simple question. What kind of person is he? Guang Tao hesitates but says it straight. He's trash. And hearing that, he just thinks back to his past life. The strongest man in the world, now reborn as absolute garbage. And that's when it fully sinks in. He really died and came back. The next day, our boy is sitting there piecing things together and finally realizes the name of the body he reincarnated into. Bi Li Dan, the young clan leader of the Bi swordsman family in Shandong. Sounds prestigious, right? Nah, the reality is way less impressive. His relationships are trash, his martial arts are mid at best, and even though he's already 20, he's only got 5 years of chi built up in his dantian. That's weak, apparently. Then he looks over at Guang Tao and basically sums up his situation. The only useful thing he's got right now is this one loyal servant who's been with him since childhood, even if he's a bit of a busybody. So he asks Guang Tao if there are any rumors going around. Treasure maps, rare spirit beasts, anything big. Or more importantly, if there's news about the alliance leader dying. Guang Tao immediately shuts that down, saying, why would a perfectly healthy alliance leader just die out of nowhere? Now our boy is thinking something's off. It's been days since he reincarnated, so there should have been chaos in Jianghu by now if Tianhe Jin really died. Either they're hiding it, or something bigger is going on behind the scenes. Then Guang Tao suddenly remembers there is a rumor, but it's about him. Apparently, word is he lost his mind after getting beaten by Miss Song. That hits, and now he's low-key embarrassed hearing how pathetic it sounds. So he asks straight up, is she really that beautiful that he'd crash out like that and get himself beaten? Guang Tao laughs and confirms it, saying she just got back to the region recently and people are already calling her the greatest beauty of the East. People were literally lining up just to see her face. But our boy? He doesn't remember any of that. Inside, though, he's reflecting on his past life. He's been with plenty of women before, even some of the top beauties in the Central Plains. But none of it was real. Nobody saw him as a man, only as Tianhe Jin, the martial god. So in the end, the only thing he ever truly had was the sword. That was his real companion. Guangtao then teases him, saying even after getting folded, he still wants to see Miss Song, right? But Li Dan immediately shuts that down. He's not interested. Forget Miss Song, forget the whole beauty hype, just bring him a sword. And now Guangtao is completely thrown off. Like, bro, a sword? Out of nowhere? Li Dan basically responds with, what kind of question is that? He's a martial artist, why wouldn't he want a sword? The vibe gets awkward real quick, and Guangtao just accepts it, thinking, yeah, he definitely lost his memories. A bit later, he comes back with his sword he found buried in storage. Li Dan takes it and instantly feels it. This is his first time holding a sword in a long time. Back in his past life, he was already at the peak. There was no one worth even drawing his blade for. But even then, he never reached the mental sword realm, the level where you don't even need a physical blade anymore, just pure intent that can cut anything. And now, he's got a second shot. This time, he's going to walk that path properly. Guangtao, looking nervous, suddenly asks if he's planning to pull up on Miss Song for revenge with that sword. Li Dan is like, what are you even saying? But Guangtao is dead serious, basically begging him not to do anything stupid. Bro thinks this is a villain arc. And now Li Dan realizes just how bad this body's reputation is. Before things can settle, his mother pulls up, already heated, asking if that's really his plan, to harm Miss Song. Guangtao instantly bows, but she's locked onto Li Dan. He denies it, but she questions why he's even holding a sword in the first place. At this point, he's internally annoyed. Like, how long has this guy gone without touching a sword that people are reacting like this? So he finally says it straight. He's going to start training seriously from now on. His mother does not buy it for a second. She thinks he's lying again and plotting something shady. But then he drops a line that actually hits. He says he doesn't know what he'll use the sword for yet, but one thing's certain. He'll never use it to harm his fiancée or bully the weak. That completely catches her off guard. Inside, he reflects again. In his past life, he was so obsessed with martial arts and protecting Murim that he never even built a family. Now, he doesn't know why he was reborn like this, but since he is, he's going to live properly as B. Li Dan. He reassures her, telling her not to worry. And she's just standing there, stunned, not even knowing how to respond. A few days pass, and now we see him sitting in meditation, circulating qi through his body. Suddenly, his aura bursts out, way stronger than before. And he realizes he's completely refined his internal energy, turning 5 years of sloppy, weak cultivation into 5 years of pure, refined qi. That's the difference experience makes. He's using the heavenly martial circulation mind art, basically a top-tier technique that lets him control and grow his qi perfectly as long as he's conscious. From here on out, he's planning to build his strength and stamina properly. Then out of nowhere, Guangtao bursts in, sweating, panicking, saying there's a huge problem. Li Dan immediately frowns, thinking, yeah, it's finally happening. So he calmly asks if the alliance leader died. Guangtao is confused again, like, why does he keep bringing that up? That's not it. The real issue? The Song clan leader is here. Li Dan doesn't care at first, asking why that's such a big deal. But then Guangtao drops the real bomb. Miss Song came with him. Now as they walk to meet them, Guangtao is stressing hard, reminding him not to mess this up, to apologize properly this time. Li Dan just brushes it off, saying he knows. Then they arrive, and immediately his father greets him. But Li Dan isn't focused on that. He sees her, Song Hualin. And yeah, he gets it now. She's way prettier than he expected. Now he understands why the previous owner lost his mind over her. Yeah, nah, she can ruin my life respectfully. But her reaction? Cold. She looks at him once, then looks away like he's nothing. No interest at all. Lidan still keeps it respectful, greeting them and apologizing for what happened. She doesn't respond, which makes things awkward, and her father even calls her out for it. Then Lidan's father steps in, saying his son was the one at fault and they shouldn't blame her. Things are already tense, but then Hualin finally speaks up, and what she says flips the whole room. She asks to cancel the marriage. Instant shock. Everyone freezes. Her father immediately snaps, asking what she's saying out of nowhere. I'd still thank her for the rejection, but she stays calm, saying it's an arranged marriage, and while she knows it's rude, she still believes she has the right to choose her own husband. Now both families are completely caught off guard. Nobody saw this coming. And Lidan? He's just standing there with this awkward smile, watching everything unfold. She doubles down, apologizing properly this time, saying she knows they've treated her like their own daughter, but she has zero intention of marrying the young master. That hits hard. Both families are shook, and her father instantly snaps, calling her out for the disrespect. Like, this is how you repay people who raised you? And you didn't even discuss it with him first? She tries to respond, but he keeps going, basically saying she's looking down on both families. Man took more damage than the groom. Now she's just standing there, head down, taking it. Lidan's father steps in, trying to calm things down, saying she must have her reasons. But the tension is still thick, until our boy suddenly speaks up. And yeah, he flips the whole situation again. He says he also wants to cancel the engagement. He basically Uno reversed the rejection. Now everyone's stunned. Miss Song looks up at him like, hold up, what? Even Guang Tao is frozen. Her father tries to smooth it over, saying not to take it personally, but Lidan's already thinking, he's the one who messed up in the first place, yet this man is still apologizing. The original owner might have been trash, but the people around him, solid. So he makes it clear, it's not about being hurt. Then her father asks why, and Lidan just says it straight. He also wants to be engaged to someone he actually chooses. Miss Song is genuinely caught off guard. Meanwhile, Lidan's parents are just quiet, low-key disappointed, not even sure what to say. But his father eventually accepts it, saying if that's what they both want, then so be it. But Miss Song's father is not having it, saying the engagement can't just be canceled like that. Then Lidan's father hits him with a calm reality check. Just like she said, they can't decide her future for her. That shuts things down. Miss Song's father, clearly annoyed, just calls it and says they'll leave for now. As they're about to go, she pauses, looks at Lidan, and asks why he suddenly changed his mind. Our boy hits her with a half joke, saying her punch hurt too much. She bows slightly and leaves with her father. Now his mom immediately turns to him, annoyed, asking what he's actually planning. He keeps it honest. He has no intention of getting engaged, and he's got other things to focus on right now. She calls him out, asking why he even caused that whole scene with Hualin before, if that was the case. He just apologizes, because realistically, that wasn't even him. Then she presses him. What is he planning to do? He says it again, clearly this time. He's going to train in martial arts. She's shocked, like, wait, you were serious? And he confirms it. She still can't believe it, but before it goes any further, his dad swoops in and drags her away, saying they should go have a drink together. She's confused as hell, but he insists, saying they should celebrate since their son is finally saying something like this. Now Lidan's just watching them leave, and it hits him. Every time he feels their gaze, his chest tightens. These people genuinely care about him, even after everything. And that kind of thing? It's dangerous. He starts thinking that having a family might make him weak, that once he understands love, he won't be able to act as ruthlessly as before when it's needed. Bro is scared of catching feelings, not hands. Next scene, he's outside, running, completely out of breath, sweating like crazy. No internal arts, just pure physical effort. He realizes his stamina is absolute trash. 12 li of running? I had to search what a li is, and it's an old Chinese measurement, so around 6 kilometers, and he's already at his limit. But he keeps going, thinking if he keeps this up, there's still a chance. Then, as he's heading back, he suddenly spots Hualin waiting for him. He's caught off guard. She immediately looks away, saying she didn't come because she wanted to. Her father sent her to apologize. He says he won't misunderstand, but that answer low-key annoys her. Then she asks if he remembers what he said while drunk. He has no clue. So she reminds him. He basically insulted her looks, saying her looks wouldn't last and she'd just end up like a prune. That's rough. He apologizes again, properly this time. But then she surprises him. She agrees with him. Now he's confused. She explains that right now everyone praises her beauty, but that won't last forever. She wants to be recognized for her skills, not her face. That's why she doesn't want to date anyone. And on top of that, she straight up says she just doesn't like him. No filter. He just accepts it, saying he understands. Then she asks if he agreed to cancel the engagement because his pride got hurt. He gives her that awkward smile, basically telling her to think whatever she wants. Inside, though, he's realizing something. These are normal emotions. Pride, relationships, drama. This is what being 20 is like. Something he never really got to experience before. So he tells her clearly, she doesn't need to worry. He has no intention of changing his mind. That shocks her again. Then he walks past her, telling her he won't be a burden in her life anymore. She's left standing there, completely confused. This isn't the same guy at all. As he walks away, he reflects on his past. His 20s weren't filled with youth or light. They were filled with blood. Constant fighting, killing evil across the Central Plains. No peace, no softness, just survival and dominance. He looks back one last time as she leaves the estate. Then we cut to him in a snowy field, sword in hand. He takes his stance and starts practicing, Asura sword arts. With every slash, he's recalling the past, cutting down the leaders of the 13 dark syndicates, tearing through enemies, until finally facing the blood heaven divine cult leader, and cutting him down to become the strongest in the world. He keeps moving, refining every strike, and suddenly, boom, the snow around him explodes outward from the force of his sword. The whole area shakes, and he realizes something mid-training. Using martial arts like this, it's easier than he expected. Then he pauses, thinking about the original owner of this body. With talent like this, why the hell was he living like such trash? We cut to Miss Song back at her estate, talking with her guard. The guard mentions that young Master B has actually been training martial arts lately. That alone sounds crazy, because apparently that's something he never does. Everyone in the B family was shocked. The guard even assumes he's just doing it to look good in front of her. But Hua Lin shuts that down immediately. She says that's not it. The way he acted, it didn't feel like he was trying to impress her at all. That catches her subordinate off guard. Hua Lin thinks back to their interaction, realizing the look in his eyes back then felt genuine. Then the guard brings up another thing. There's a gathering happening today for the younger generation. Hua Lin clearly isn't interested and asks if she really has to go. The guard confirms she does, saying the young master of the Yang Syndicate has been repeatedly asking for her presence. The moment the Yang Syndicate gets mentioned, she cuts it off immediately and agrees to go, telling the guard to stop talking. Something about that clearly bothers her. The guard apologizes and leaves to prepare. Now we cut to the city. It's lively, crowded, and our boy B. Ladan is just sitting there, calmly, sipping tea. He's still focused on one thing, why there's zero news about the Alliance leader's death. It's been days. There should be chaos, rumors, something, but nothing. He's starting to get suspicious. He even considers going straight to the Murim Alliance himself to check, but he knows he can't risk that. Then suddenly, he notices a group walking upstairs, and yeah, Hua Lin is with them. The moment the other youngsters spot him, the mood shifts instantly. One of them straight up calls him a bastard, surprised he's even alive. Another one walks up to him, acting smug, saying he heard Ladan came back from death and seems fine now. Ladan just looks down, already thinking this is another clown who had beef with the previous owner of his body. The guy keeps going, bringing up how Ladan's been training martial arts lately, asking if it's to throw hands with him. That's when Ladan casually drops a line that flips the vibe completely. He says nobody trains martial arts just to beat someone up. It's to kill the person they intend to kill. The guy freezes, suddenly feeling something off. Even he's thinking, why does this feel different coming from someone like B. Ladan? But instead of backing off, he doubles down, calling him a debt-loving bastard and mocking him for crying after getting beaten by Miss Song. Now Ladan's internally like, debt-loving? Did this guy borrow money from him? He's already planning to check that later. Then from the back, Hualin steps in and corrects him, saying she never said anything like that. The guy brushes it off, saying he doesn't need her to confirm it. Then he asks her directly if Lidan has been bothering her. She closes her eyes and calmly says, not at all. At that point, Lidan just stands up to leave. No interest, no energy wasted. But the guy tries to stop him, acting tough, while throwing a warning about not glaring at people. Lidan just ignores all of it. In his mind, there's no point wasting time or emotions on kids like this. He didn't get reincarnated just to deal with petty nonsense. He walks straight past Hualin without even looking at her. Bro walked past like everyone's background NPCs. And that alone makes people notice. His whole vibe is different now. Back at the clan estate, Lidan walks in and sees Guangtao working, cleaning up. He asks why, and Guangtao explains they got word that leader Yang is coming. Lidan has no clue who that is, so Guangtao explains. It's Yang Jizhe, the leader of the Yang Syndicate, the strongest group in Shandong. Our boy asks if that makes their family second, but nope, they fall into third. The Yang Syndicate is first, the Song family second, and the B family is now third. That surprises him because they used to be the strongest. So what happened? Guangtao looks at him like, are you serious? And then confirms, it's because of him. All the money wasted fixing his messes, debts piling up everywhere, forcing them to cut down on martial artists, reduce staff, merge squads. The whole family's been declining because of this one guy. Lidan asks if he's really in that much debt, and Guangtao confirms it's everywhere, especially with the lesser Yang Syndicate. Now it clicks. That guy earlier? That's why he was acting so smug. Guangtao keeps going. The 3 major sword squads reduced to 1, servants cut by more than half, finances barely holding together. It's bad. Lidan quietly realizes something heavy. He's been draining this family dry, completely wrecking their future. Then he asks why he's making such a big deal over cleaning. Guangtao says the people they owe money to are coming, so obviously everything needs to look presentable. Then he goes back to work. Lidan just stands there, clearly bothered. Then suddenly, another servant runs up, saying the young master of the Yang Syndicate hit Guangtao last time. That instantly flips a switch. Lidan turns around, asking why. The servant explains, it was over trash in the yard, calling Guangtao lazy and beating him for it. But here's the real part. It was actually that Yang guy who threw the trash there in the first place. Now Lidan's pissed. He asks if he was there when it happened, and the answer makes it worse. Not only was he there, he was drinking and laughing, watching it happen. That hits hard. Inside, he's furious. Not at others, but at the previous version of himself, calling him a complete idiot, a disgrace. But then the servant says something unexpected. Guangtao told her yesterday that the young master is changing for the better. And she admits she doesn't believe Lidan, but she believes Guangtao. After saying that, she bows and leaves. Now Lidan just stands there, frustrated, looking over at Guangtao still working like nothing happened. Even after everything, this guy still treats him with loyalty. That sits heavy. Then evening hits. Someone announces that the Yang Syndicate leader has arrived. And just like that, they walk in, smug, confident, acting like they own the place. Yep, something bad's definitely about to happen. So Lidan is staring down the clan leader Yang, and the tension is already through the roof. Back in the day, this guy used to call Lidan's dad grandfather while running around in socks. But now he's switched his tone completely, clearly looking down on them by coming so late. Lidan knows his son is the same guy who beat up Guangtao over some ridiculous reason. The Yang clan leader starts talking about joining forces with Grandmaster Peng from the Peng family and says he has put in a good word for them. Lidan's dad laughs it off. He's the one keeping the vibe calm and suggests they head inside to discuss business. But Yang Jigang, the clan leader's son from earlier in the day, stays outside with Lidan, standing there cocky as ever. Lidan has to hold back for Guangtao's sake, thinking it's hard not to throw hands. He tells Jigang to just eat and leave, but the drama is far from over. Jigang demands 20,000 Yangs back, trying to flex, and Lidan calmly says he doesn't owe him that. It's his father's business to deal with that. The guy throws shade about the family's lost status in Shandong, and Li Dan admits he's an asshole before walking away. The guards are shocked. Has he really changed? Li Dan internally panics about the massive debt he caused. Then, things escalate. Jigang grabs the servant girl, and Guang Tao grabs his arm, saying she's just a child. Li Dan sees red at this point, but Jigang hits Guang Tao to the floor. Li Dan's thinking this guy is truly an idiot. Then comes the ultimate disrespect, spitting on the floor and telling Guang Tao to clean it with his mouth. Everyone, including Jigang's own guards, is stunned. The little servant girl tries to step in, tears in her eyes, but Li Dan swoops in, shutting it down, saying the bastard who spat should clean it up. Absolute clutch move. This guy's about to regret existing. Jigang is left fuming. After Liden tells him to clean up his own spit, Yang Jigang completely loses it, calling him crazy and saying he must have lost his mind after getting beaten by a girl. But our boy doesn't even acknowledge him. He just checks on Guang Tao first. Priorities straight. Guang Tao's confused, telling him he can just clean it up, but Liden shuts that down immediately, asking why he would ever do something like that. Guang Tao is shaken, clearly not used to this version of him. But under that pressure, he bows and complies. Then Liden calmly says he'll handle everything himself and tells them to just watch until the end. That alone flips the atmosphere. Even the guard steps forward and formally acknowledges his command, which is a big shift. People are starting to take him seriously. Jigang, still acting cocky, mocks him, asking what someone like him could even do. That's when Liden lays it out clean. If he apologizes properly, this ends here. Because if he licks the spit, it'll be even dirtier. But if he refuses, he's getting beaten. Now the tension spikes. Jigang steps up, saying he's been waiting for this moment, calling him a penniless beggar, pulling his arm back, ready to swing and humiliate him. But before that hit can even land, boom. Liden interrupts him with a clean uppercut. Instant shock. Everyone freezes. His guards, Jigang's guards, even Guang Tao. Jigang stumbles, furious, and tries to go again, this time actually using internal energy. Now it gets real. Liden instantly realizes if that hits, he's done. So he doesn't clash, he dodges. Clean, efficient, controlled. And in his head, he's almost satisfied. This is how it should be. He slips in, lands an elbow, throws Jigang off balance, and then just starts unloading. Precise, relentless hits to the body. And while he's doing it, he's thinking about everything this guy did, all the people he treated like trash for fun. Then he finishes it with a clean strike to the face, followed by one final punch straight to the core, sending Jigang flying. Silence. Everyone's stunned. Jigang's guards panic, rushing to him, while Liden just stands there like nothing happened. Then the guards snap, asking what he thinks he's doing. Liden fires back, pointing out exactly what Jigang did from the start, forcing someone to clean spit with their mouth. Asking them straight, is that something a human does? Now Jigang, completely humiliated and injured, starts screaming for them to kill Liden. Even punches one of his own guards for hesitating. But the guards are stuck. They know this is insane. Killing the successor of the B family over this? That's not something you just do. They hesitate, hands on their swords, while Liden's guards step in with their hands also on their swords, saying clearly that order can be ignored. It was given in rage. They remind them to think about the consequences. The whole place is now on edge. One wrong move and this turns into a full-on bloodbath. Jigang's guards finally agree. They can't do it. This has to be handled by the clan leaders. But Jigang isn't done. He forces himself up, shoves his guards aside, grabs a sword, and rushes Liden screaming, completely out of control. One of Liden's guards tries to stop it, but it's too late. Liden then dodges the blade effortlessly, grabs Jigang's arm, and snaps it like a toothpick. Clean break. Jigang screams. Liden follows it up with a kick and a heavy punch that knocks teeth out. And again, he just stands there, calm. Bro getting comboed like it's Mortal Kombat. At this point, it's over. Jigang's guards panic, calling for a physician and sending word to the syndicate leader immediately. Guang Tao, shaking, asks if Liden has lost his mind. How could he provoke the Yang syndicate like this? What's the plan now? But Li Dan doesn't even understand the question. Guang Tao keeps urging him to leave, saying the family head will handle it. But Li Dan refuses, because in his mind, if he leaves now, everything will fall on Guang Tao instead. This whole thing started because he stepped in to stop that humiliation. So there's no way he's walking away and letting someone else take the hit. Guang Tao keeps pushing him to run, but Li Dan just glances to the side and calmly says it's too late. And yeah, it is. Both clan leaders are already storming over. His father looks worried. Young Jija looks furious. And in the middle of all that pressure, Li Dan just smiles and casually tells Guang Tao that if he dies, he'll make sure they're buried together. Guang Tao is absolutely terrified, watching the two leaders approach, knowing something massive is about to go down. So right after that whole beatdown, the real boss walks in, Yang Jija himself, and immediately asks what the hell just happened. His son is on the ground, wrecked, calling out and accusing Li Dan of trying to kill him. The atmosphere flips instantly. Jija looks over, already annoyed, already angry, while our boy B. Li Dan is just standing there, calm, like nothing happened. Jija asks if it's true, and one of his guards tries to explain, but before he can even get a word out, he gets slapped. Hard. Jija starts beating his own guard, calling him a fool for letting the successor of the Yang Syndicate end up like this. He just keeps going, slapping him repeatedly until the guy is on the floor, bloodied and barely conscious. Everyone there is shocked, his own people included. Yeah, his whole team just lost respect instantly. Then, without even properly looking at his son, still facing away, he asks how the B family plans to take responsibility for this. Li Dan's father steps forward, standing in front of Li Dan and Guang Tao, completely composed. He asks what actually happened, and one of their guards explains everything from start to finish. That just makes things worse. Jija explodes, saying that just because of a lowly servant and maid, they dared to beat his son like this? He demands to know how they'll take responsibility. Li Dan stays silent, but then his father speaks up. And this flips everything. He calmly says that it's actually the Yang Syndicate leader who should take responsibility. Everyone freezes. Again. This whole situation is just shock after shock. Jija is furious, asking what he just said, but Li Dan's father doesn't back down. He points out that young Jigang used internal energy, drew a sword, and tried to kill his son who was unarmed. And there are witnesses everywhere. One of their guards even smiles, while the Yang side starts sweating. Then he drops it clean. If it were anyone else, he would have punished them himself, but he'll let this go just once to save their face. I still don't know what the father's name is. Anyway, he continues, saying if this gets out into Jianghu, not just Jigang, but the entire Yang Syndicate will become a joke. Now Jija is forced into a corner, asking what he's trying to do. But Li Dan's father fires right back, asking him the same thing. At this point, even Li Dan is surprised. He thought his father might be soft, but clearly not. Jija realizes he's not winning this exchange and changes direction, demanding the debt be paid immediately. And Li Dan's father? He just calmly agrees, then tells him the guests are leaving. That's basically a polite way of telling him to get out. Jija is furious, but he has no play here, so he leaves. Once they're gone, Li Dan's father turns to him and asks why he did it. Li Dan answers honestly, because they humiliated the family and tried to force them to do something no human should do. That word, family, hits the servants hard. They didn't expect that from him. His father just looks at him, steady, then walks off with the guard captain. Now our boy turns to the servants, telling them not to be scared. If someone like that tries anything again, they're not worth fearing. From now on, he and the family will protect them. The little servant girl is stunned, then thanks him, and even the guards look more pleased hearing that. Guang Tao then asks the real question, isn't he scared? But bro just doesn't get it. Why would he be? Guang Tao reminds him that the Yang Syndicate is the strongest in Shandong right now. But Li Dan breaks it down calmly. The Yang martial artists don't respect their own leaders. You could see it in their faces. There are only a few truly loyal people there. Meanwhile, their own swordsmen? Completely different. Guang Tao argues numbers still matter, but Li Dan shuts that down. Fights aren't decided by numbers alone, and wars don't just start like that. even if his son got destroyed like that. Li Dan then explains something deeper. Young Jija didn't even properly look at his injured son. He wasn't angry because his son got hurt. He was angry because someone dared to hit his son. That difference matters. He's a selfish man who only thinks about himself. Guangtao doesn't fully get it, but Li Dan just tells him to rest. He went through enough today. Then Guangtao stops him and thanks him for earlier, which actually puts a small smile on Li Dan's face. He tells him not to forget it for the rest of his life, and Guangtao is clearly happy. As Li Dan walks away, he's already thinking ahead. From experience, young Jija won't act immediately. He'll wait until he has a guaranteed win, or find a way to strike without dirtying his hands. So Li Dan knows, he has to move first. Yeah, revenge arc loading. Then we cut to his parents. His mother is pulling out a treasured piece of jewelry, something passed down through generations, and says she'll sell it to pay off the debt. His father immediately refuses, saying it's too important. It's her most cherished possession. But she calmly tells him it's just an item. He pushes back, saying it's not just an item, it's her family's memento. And then she says, he and their son are what she truly cherishes. Their son has changed, and now they need to protect him, not objects. He hesitates, asking if she really believes in him, even after everything. And she says yes, because no matter what, he's still their son. He can't argue with that, so he just quietly accepts it and hugs her. And right outside the door, bro hears everything. At first, he thought he was reincarnated for himself. Then he thought maybe it was for the previous owner of this body. But hearing this, he starts to think maybe it was for them. And then a real question hits him. Is he even capable of that? Someone who never experienced real family, someone whose nature is ruthless, who holds grudges and thinks about revenge constantly. Can someone like that really become what they need? Okay, this is probably where the real story starts. We open up with a carriage rolling through a mountain path, and Guangtao is already confused out of his mind, asking what the young master just said. And Li Dan casually confirms it. They're heading straight to the Yang Syndicate. No hesitation, no build-up, just like that. Guangtao can't process it. He asks why he's even being dragged along, and Li Dan, calm as ever, says there are two answers, one he'll like and one he won't. Guangtao, already defeated, asks for the bad one first. Li Dan hits him with it straight. This whole situation started because of him, didn't it? That lands. Guangtao pauses, then just nods. Then he asks for the good answer, and Li Dan says the only person he can trust is him. That one hits differently. Guangtao is visibly moved, but immediately covers it with a sigh, joking that it just shows how small the young master's circle is. Then he asks the real question, what's the plan? And Li Dan just says he'll figure it out on the way. That answer alone has Guangtao questioning reality, wondering what kind of injury turns someone this positive. Li Dan fires back casually. If Guangtao gets hit on the head enough times when they arrive, he might end up like him too. That just leaves Guangtao completely baffled. But internally, Li Dan notices something himself. These jokes, this casual tone, it's not how he used to be. He starts wondering if it's because he's younger now, or if it's his way of breaking free from the rigid, suffocating life he lived before. Then we cut to the Yang side. Jija is sitting there, calling his son pathetic for getting beaten like that. And Jigang, lying in bed, is straight up asking his father to kill Li Dan. And not just him, but wipe out his entire family. Jija doesn't even hesitate. He says that was already the plan. In his mind, he's furious that someone from a declining family dared to look down on him. Then he drops the real problem. He's already called the Bloodhound. Dad already ordered the assassin like it's Uber Eats. That name alone shocks his son. And Jija just sits there with a cold smile, saying they'll pay the price. Cut back to the carriage. Li Dan's reading a book, The White Moon Sword Technique. Guangtao recognizes it immediately and lowers his voice, saying it's the family's exclusive martial art. But Li Dan calls him out for whispering, pointing out that acting like that just makes it more suspicious. Guangtao panics, covers his mouth, and somehow makes it even worse. He says it's not even that great out loud. But Li Dan just messes with him, saying he might have to report what he said to his father. Guangtao folds immediately. Tao instantly starts backtracking hard, praising it like it's the best in the world. Meanwhile, Li Dan is evaluating it seriously in his head. It's decent, slightly above average, nothing groundbreaking. But it's useful as a cover. If he's going to hide his real abilities, this is the perfect front. Guangtao then points out how weird it is seeing him read at all, saying the only thing he used to read was bar menus and courtesan lists. Li Dan just ignores that and suddenly asks if Guangtao wants to learn martial arts. That question catches him off guard. Guangtao hesitates, then says no. Someone like him couldn't possibly learn. Li Dan challenges that instantly, pointing out even someone like Yang Jigang learned. But Guangtao pushes back, saying that's because he was born into a strong family with good teachers. And this is where Li Dan drops something different. He says what really matters isn't family, or masters, or even talent, physique, or willpower. Guangtao guesses effort, but Li Dan says there's something even more important: relationship. Guangtao is completely thrown off. A relationship with Jianghu. It sounds vague, almost like nonsense, and Guangtao brushes it off as Li Dan dodging the explanation. But internally, Li Dan is dead serious. From everything he's experienced, relationships are the most important thing in that world. Then the carriage arrives. They head inside, and Li Dan books one room. Guangtao immediately assumes he'll sleep outside in the carriage, but Li Dan shuts that down. He didn't get one room to leave him freezing outside. They're sharing it. 2 beds, no wasted money. Guangtao is struggling to process this. Sleeping in the same room is already too much for him, but Li Dan doesn't entertain it. Instead, he suggests they grab a drink first. And that confuses Guangtao even more. Drinking together? At the same table? Li Dan sits down like it's normal and orders drinks and snacks. Guangtao just stands there, clearly emotional, before our boy tells him to sit. And this hits him hard. It's the first time he's ever sat and shared a drink with the young master. Even the idea of sharing a room was already shocking. Bro just pours a drink and tells him to take it. Guangtao tries to refuse, saying he should be the one serving, but Li Dan doesn't care. He even points out Guangtao is older, so he should drink first. That completely breaks Guangtao's expectations. He accepts it, saying he'll never forget this moment for the rest of his life. Li Dan pours his own drink, ignoring the usual hierarchy, and that's when Guangtao suddenly realizes something, or at least thinks he does. He claims he figured it out. He says Li Dan brought him along to kill him, and that's why he's being so nice, comparing it to feeding a cow well before slaughter. That almost makes Li Dan spit his drink, and Guangtao, dead serious, thinks he's absolutely right. Bro thinks he's getting fattened up for execution. So yeah, that whole "you're taking me along to kill me" theory, completely off. That's not the play at all. Instead, they keep drinking and talking deep into the night, going over everything, from how easily Li Dan handled Yang Jigang to everything else that's been building up. At one point, Guangtao gets serious and asks for a promise. He needs to hear that the young master won't go back to his old self. And Li Dan actually gives it to him. Straight, no hesitation. They keep drinking after that, and for the first time in his life, Li Dan realizes he's properly drunk, something he never experienced before, and he's actually smiling about it. Next day, Dongping. Guangtao asks what the move is now, and Li Dan keeps it simple. They need to figure out what Yang Jija is planning. But since nothing is leaking outside, the only option is getting info from inside. That's when Guangtao steps up and offers to handle it himself. Li Dan pauses, because he knows exactly how dangerous that is. If Guangtao gets caught, it won't be clean. They'll torture him, burn him, cut him up. That alone rattles him, but Guangtao still commits. Even jokes that if it comes down to it, he'll just sell Li Dan out before getting tortured. And Li Dan doesn't get mad. He actually agrees, says that's what wise loyalty looks like. That throws Guangtao off. He thought loyalty meant dying for someone. But Li Dan makes it clear, that's not what he wants. Right now, survival matters more. Guangtao doesn't fully get it, but he sticks to his decision anyway and asks to be trusted with it. Li Dan lets him go. Guangtao walks off, then hesitates and turns back, half expecting Li Dan to secretly follow and protect him from the shadows. But Li Dan just smiles and tells him to think whatever makes him comfortable, because he's really leaving it to him. Guangtao sighs and accepts it, but not before making him promise to buy him a drink when he gets back. Watching him leave, Li Dan thinks about something deeper, that their relationship won't break over something like this. And that connection, that's what keeps Guangtao tied to Jianghu, which will be important. Then time passes. 4 days. Ledan's sitting alone, thinking it's been too long. At this point, Guangtao could have been caught, tortured, or already dead. Then suddenly, the door swings open. A man walks in with a sword and a wide-brimmed hat, talking like it's some fated meeting and asking for a drink. Ledan smiles immediately. It's Guangtao. He looks like he's been through it, saying he was scared out of his mind the whole time. But he delivers. The Yang Syndicate is secretly gathering skilled vagabonds through someone called Blood Dog. They've already recruited dozens, and the plan is to hit the B family while building up strength in the shadows. On top of that, they're spreading rumors, twisting the story so it sounds like Ledan got caught trying to assault a woman and got beaten for it. Ledan just shrugs it off, saying people would believe that anyway, considering his past. But Guangtao pushes back. No matter what he did before, that kind of accusation isn't true. Then Ledan asks how he even got this information. Turns out, he didn't infiltrate the vagabonds at all. A maid from the Yang Syndicate fed him everything. And not just that, she's now on his side. That actually surprises Ledan, but Guangtao explains it simply. He understands people like her. And on top of that, Ji Gang apparently killed one of his own maids, so the entire place is full of resentment. Nobody likes the Yang family. Ledan recognizes it immediately. This wasn't just luck. Guangtao found the right approach, and that created the opportunity. Guangtao admits he planned to infiltrate further, but got too scared to follow through. But Ledan doesn't care. He already got more than enough. Then Guangtao suddenly switches tone, saying he discovered something important. His face works well on women. Completely serious. Ledan is not impressed. Guangtao starts feeling himself, acting like he's suddenly some kind of charm master, then asks if they should head back and report everything. Ledan shuts that down instantly. They're not going back. They're finishing this. Cut to the Yang estate. Ji Gang is in full scumbag mode again, pressuring a terrified woman who says she has someone she's supposed to marry. He doesn't care. He threatens to kill the man in front of her, forcing her into a corner. She breaks down, crying, starting to give in just to protect the other person. And right when it's about to go too far, someone moves. A masked figure appears out of nowhere and strikes her from behind, locking her pressure points so she can't move. The girl is frozen, and the masked man calmly tells her not to be afraid. Not all men are like this. Just because you get bitten by a mad dog doesn't mean every dog is the same. She passes out from the shock. Ji Gang, panicking, demands to know who this is. But as he listens, something clicks. He recognizes the voice. Before he can even finish that thought, a blade goes straight through his core. He starts begging immediately, saying he was wrong, asking to be spared. But the masked man looks down coldly and throws it back at him. When others begged, what did he do? Ji Gang has no answer. And just like that, the masked man cuts him down. No hesitation. And if you want to see what happens next, like, subscribe, and hit that crispy bell.